Have you ever heard that warm air rises? In a tall building, you may notice that the coolest parts, temperature-wise, are lower, while the temperature increases the higher you go up. In this video, we'll talk about another property of fluid mechanics that allows hot air balloons to rise and land. In our last video, we discovered how objects can sink or float depending on their weight and volume. If you haven't watched that video yet, I recommend checking that out first. So, if a change in the weight or volume allows the submarine to dive and surface, then is that how hot air balloons rise and land? You could say that, because there's one more property that affects buoyancy, and that's density. We can almost think of density as a combination of weight and volume. Density is the amount of mass that takes up a certain volume. It's how much stuff can fit into a certain space. If we place one kid in a room, that room is not very dense, not much stuff in that space. But if we cram 50 kids into that room, the density increased because there's so much more stuff in the same space. A ping pong ball and a rock may have the same volume, but one is mostly empty space and gas molecules, while the other is made of tightly packed molecules. The rock is more dense than the ping pong ball. Density can also cause things to sink or float. Salt water is more dense than fresh water, so salt water tends to sink in fresh water. Vegetable oil is less dense than water, so it tends to float on water. Since temperature affects density, it can also cause things to sink or float. Colder water tends to sink and warmer water tends to float, the same way cold air tends to sink and warm air tends to rise. As temperature increases, molecules move faster. The faster the molecules move, the more space they take up. The opposite's also true. As temperature decreases, molecules move slower. The slower the molecules move, the less space they take up. If the same number of molecules cover a wider space, it is less dense, so it tends to rise or float. Let's take a look at our hot air balloon example one more time to see how it's able to rise. The air inside the hot air balloon is heated by burners and becomes, well, hot. Hotter than the air around it. As the air inside is heated, it becomes less dense than the air outside. This difference in density provides a buoyant force, that lifting force when an object is immersed in a fluid. When that buoyant force is greater than the balloon's weight, the balloon starts to rise. By controlling the amount of hot air that escapes, the balloon is able to reduce its buoyancy and descend. It's amazing to see how these different factors can affect how objects sink or float. Whether it's the weight, the volume, the density, or temperature, hopefully you can appreciate all the physics behind why things sink or float.